A shocking celebrity bankruptcy list you won't believe. It's a story we've all heard. A star climbs to the absolute peak of their profession, making more money than most of us could dream of. They have the mansions, the private jets, the entourage, they are set for life. But then, the bottom falls out. The empire crumbles, the millions vanish, and they're left with only headlines and mountains of debt. It's a spectacular fall from grace that leaves the world asking the same question. How could it all go so wrong? How does someone who earned over $400 million end up $23 million in debt? It sounds impossible, but this story is more common in the world of the rich and famous than you'd think. And we're not talking about B-list actors or one-hit wonders. We're talking about global superstars and cultural icons. Today, we're running down the list of the most shocking celebrity bankruptcies of all time. You won't believe who's on this list, and the reasons they lost it all, from runaway spending to disastrous investments, are even crazier than you can imagine. Let's start in the world of hip-hop, a genre that celebrates wealth. And few did it louder than Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a businessman, building an empire from music to a legendary 9-figure investment in vitamin water. So, how did he end up filing for bankruptcy? In 2015, 50 Cent filed for Chapter 11, reporting debts of over $32 million. The filing came after a judge ordered him to pay $7 million in a lawsuit over a leaked sex tape. But that was just the final domino. Bad business deals, like a headphone venture that cost him over $17 million, and a lifestyle with $108,000 in monthly expenses, had been bleeding him dry. But for 50, bankruptcy was strategic. He reorganized, paid off his $23 million debt years ahead of schedule, and has since rebuilt his fortune as the executive producer of the Power television franchise. But not every story is so calculated. Take MC Hammer. In his prime, he was worth an estimated $70 million, earning a reported $33 million in 1991 alone. He had a 200-person staff that cost $500,000 a month, racehorses, and a custom $12 million mansion. His spending was legendary, but it was also unsustainable. By 1996, Hammer filed for bankruptcy, citing a staggering $13.7 million in debt against just $9.6 million in assets. His lavish lifestyle and falling album sales brought the party to a halt. This wasn't a strategic move, it was a total collapse. But Hammer reinvented himself, finding a new path as a minister and even a tech consultant, proving that going broke doesn't have to break you. It's not just musicians. For decades, Burt Reynolds was the ultimate movie star, the #1 box office draw for 5 straight years. At his peak, his net worth was estimated at $60 million. By 1996, it was gone. Reynolds filed for bankruptcy, citing over $10 million in debt. The downfall was a slow burn, caused by a lavish lifestyle that included a 160-acre ranch and a private jet, a series of failed business ventures, and a disastrously expensive divorce from actress Lonnie Anderson. The divorce settlement and a failed TV deal were the final blows. Reynolds spent the rest of his life working to pay off his debts. Then there's the wild story of Kim Basinger. In 1989, at the height of her fame, she made an audacious move. She bought a town. She dropped $20 million on Brazelton, Georgia, with a vision of turning it into a tourist hotspot and film studio. It was an ambitious plan that went nowhere. But the knockout punch came a few years later. Basinger verbally agreed to star in the movie Boxing Helena but later backed out. The studio sued her for breach of contract, and a jury hit her with an order to pay over $8.1 million. The 1-2 punch of a failed town and a massive lawsuit was too much. In 1993, Kim Basinger filed for bankruptcy. Some of music's most iconic voices have also faced financial ruin. The legendary Marvin Gaye's voice defined a generation, but his personal life was a struggle. In 1976, he filed for bankruptcy during a bitter divorce from his wife, Anna Gordy. The settlement was one of the strangest in music history. To cover alimony, Gaye agreed to give his ex-wife the advance and initial royalties from his next album. That album was Here, My Dear, a raw, personal account of their broken marriage. He literally paid for his divorce with an album about it. Another icon in financial trouble was Willie Nelson. In 1990, the IRS handed him a bill for an unbelievable $16.7 million in unpaid taxes from years of bad investments. The government seized everything: his ranch, his studio, his memorabilia. But Willie's response was as unique as his music. He released a double album titled The IRS Tapes, Haul by My Memories. The profits went directly to the IRS, and in a heartwarming turn, friends and fans bought his ranch back for him at auction. The world of sports can be a fertile ground for financial disaster. No one embodies this more than Iron Mike Tyson. The most feared man on the planet, he earned an estimated $400 million during his career and spent it just as fast. We're talking luxury cars, insane jewelry, and even Bengal tigers that cost $70,000 each. His most infamous purchase? A $2.2 million 24-karat gold bathtub. By 2003, it was all gone. Tyson filed for bankruptcy, revealing he was $23 million in debt. His story became the ultimate cautionary tale of excess. But, like in the ring, Tyson proved resilient. He slowly rebuilt his life and finances through a one-man show, movie cameos, and a successful cannabis business. Then there's Johnny Unitas. To football fans, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback who invented the modern position. But his genius on the field didn't translate to business. After he retired, Unitas invested in one failed venture after another: restaurants, real estate, and a circuit board company. In 1991, after personally guaranteeing loans for a failing electronics business, the NFL legend was forced to file for bankruptcy. His story is a powerful reminder that mastering one craft doesn't make you a master of all. So, what's the takeaway? The stories are different, but the patterns are hard to miss. Sudden wealth without financial knowledge is a recipe for disaster. Out-of-control spending, terrible investments, and nasty legal battles can make hundreds of millions disappear in an instant. For some, like 50 Cent, bankruptcy is a strategic reset. For others, like Burt Reynolds, it's a hole they spend their lives trying to escape. These stories aren't just celebrity gossip. They're real-world warnings about how fragile a fortune can be, and how no amount of money can save you from yourself. It really proves that old saying, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. So, what's the takeaway? The stories are different, but the patterns are hard to miss. Sudden wealth without financial knowledge is a recipe for disaster. Out-of-control spending, terrible investments, and nasty legal battles can make hundreds of millions disappear in an instant. For some, like 50 Cent, bankruptcy is a strategic reset. For others, like Burt Reynolds, it's a hole they spend their lives trying to escape. These stories aren't just celebrity gossip. They're real-world warnings about how fragile a fortune can be, and how no amount of money can save you from yourself. It really proves that old saying, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep.